everyone, welcome to another great interview for the Business Connection Virtual Summit. I am Bill Marshall and I am joined by Kevin Beers, and today we are talking all about our website and the power of what a website truly means, especially in our massively digital world that we all are in right now. So, Kevin, please tell us who you are, what you do, and a brief little introduction into what we're going to talk about.
Okay. Well, my name's Kevin Beers. I've been a software engineer and actually a hardware technician for over 40 years now. Honestly, I started this business for a young man who was 15 years old, looking for a way to make money. He had very entrepreneurial spirit, and I saw an opportunity to move into an area that he had an interest in, which was building websites. So I basically started this business with him just to show him how business works. We started that when he was 15. He's now 20. And it turns out that he's kind of a genius when it comes to websites. So we've been building websites now for quite a while. We get into digital marketing also, Facebook, Google, things like that. I'm sorry, I lost my spot.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. So, and what I'd like to talk about today is basically the website and your business, how those two things tie together. Of course, we can get into some digital marketing also, because that's also an important way to get people to your business.
Absolutely. And I think that you kind of really mapped it out for us. We need to think of the digital world kind of like the real world, where if you don't have a store, which would be your website, it doesn't matter how many people come to it, there's nothing for them to actually do. So that's why website's definitely one of the huge pieces that we all need. So when we start getting into this, let's talk about what a website should be, because I think a lot of people will just create something, throw it up on Wix, but they don't really fully understand what a website needs to be when it comes to being a business.
Okay, so a website is the very first introduction you have to your clientele. No one is going to walk through your doors unless they've already checked you out online. So your website has to represent who you are, who your business is, and when they come through those doors, you have to deliver on whatever that website showed them. There's a couple different pieces there. For instance, for me, if I'm looking for a product, I just do a search. But if I find your website, I'm going to go there. Well, what does that website make me feel? Is it compelling? Does it say it? I always go back to how do I feel about this? Does it make me want to say, that's where I want to buy that product, or that's where I want to get my service? Because first of all, the website for me, is going to be very clean. If it's all cluttered, no, I'm not coming to your website, because my first impression is I'm going to walk into your store and I'm going to feel claustrophobic, because that's what your website told me. And we can break this down a little further. There's 4 major personality types that are going to be looking at your website. So you want to cater to all 4 of them at the same time. It's a real balancing act is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And we break it down into 4 basic personality types. One is systematic. So you need structure. Everything has to be structured. One thing leads to the next thing, leads to the next thing. Then you have the very technical people. That's going to be me. The details have to be spot on. Don't make a claim that isn't true. If you say anything that just seems a little off, I probably won't be doing business with you. Then we get the action-oriented people. Now, what's curious about these people is that they love flashy colors. So we're going to have to deal with colors. Now, the opposite is the technical people who don't like flashy colors. So you have to do it tastefully and still make it flashy. Again, another balancing act. And the final one is relationship. So your website should probably have some faces with smiles on them. Now, that might sound weird when you're selling products, but let's say you have models wearing clothing, they should be smiling. Those smiles for the relationship people, it sells them every time.
Yeah. And I definitely like how you're able to break it apart because we do need to think of our clients and much like I know one of our other interviews went into it too, but the getting in the mentality and the mind of our potential clients is really how we're going to relate with them, show them that, connect with them and really have them want to be part of our brand and see what they're offering. So when we're putting our website together, we're trying to reach these four people, these four types, and we're trying to make something that stands out from the white noise of the world. How do we start putting something like this together? What are some things we need to start bringing to the table, logos, whatever? What are some things we need to start getting ourselves ready for?
Okay. When I sit down with a client and we're going to build a website, we do basically an interview. I want to find out who you are as the business owner. Then I want to find out what was your vision for this business. That is probably one of the most important pieces right there. What was your vision? Why are you doing this business? If it's simply to make money, I may not work with you because you're just like everybody. You're like any other corporation out there. But
Hmm.
if you did this because you wanted to serve people, you had a higher purpose in mind. Most entrepreneurs I've met, it's not all about the money. It's about they have some kind of purpose or some kind of drive. We want to translate that from that using graphics, using logos, colors, the text that we're using. We're trying to relate to those, we're trying to connect with those clients on a personal level. And telling your story is how we do that. On a website, we don't do it so much with text because no one's going to sit and read it all day long, but we want to connect through imagery, through colors, things like that.
Absolutely. And I think you touched on another great point there too, having a healthy mix of what's on your site. Because I know some people will just write everything out and then, not everyone's a reader. So you've already eliminated some people from your website. And, videos are great, but they can't be the only thing you have on there because it takes a certain amount of time to do. And now you lost some people who don't have the time to watch the video. So definitely having that healthy mix, I think, is a huge piece of making a website that really speaks to your target market. And so now we kind of have an idea of what we need to put together on the website and how we're going to kind of hit those four people and really, get a hold of our client. Once we have it together, that's when we start bringing in this digital marketing concept. So now that we have a place for them to go, what are the next things we need to start doing?
Okay. Let me back up a little bit. Your
Okay.
website is for general purposes. When you're actually doing digital marketing, then we set up a landing page very specific to what. Uh, so when we get into digital marketing, what we're not really selling the business, we're probably selling products or services, something very specific. So we're going to build a page. I like to build the landing page as part of the website. That's just not, it's not a clickable item on the menu, but it's there uh, for one, it saves money because you don't have to build a second site, but it's on the website. It's just hidden from the menu. But that page is going to be very specific. Let's say we want to sell sneakers. So the landing page itself, okay, there's two pieces. So the landing page is nothing but something about sneakers. It might even be a very specific sneaker of the 20 varieties that you sell. There might only be one on that landing page. Then your digital marketing, those are the ads that we're running on different platforms. That is going to, what we're going to do there is attract an audience to that specific product, and the learn more or shop now or whatever that button might say takes you to the landing page itself. Now, from the landing page, they can get to the rest of your website. So that's how we can link those things together to get them to the website. And then, so in the ad, we are targeting a very specific audience. So, if you're selling shoes, your market is 360 million people, or however many people there are in the United States. If we're doing a national type sale. However, we can't advertise to that many people, so we got to niche it down to a very specific group. Let's say it's a sneaker specifically for kids in high school. That's actually a really good niche to get into if you want to narrow it down. Well, where do kids that age look? They do not look on Facebook. So now we're looking at platforms. Where did they go for their social media? TikTok is a big one. YouTube might be another one. We always advertise on Google because that's a lot of people just search. 90% of all searches are done on Google. So therefore, we got to have some kind of ad out there. Ads on Google, and then we might narrow that down. Also, our language in the text has to match up with the age group that we're trying to reach. Again, a balancing act on all that because it might be their parents who are looking. So now we have to cater to that too. And maybe we'll launch two different ads, one for the teenager, one for the parent. But again, it all goes back to the same landing page.
Absolutely. And I think that really starts putting it into perspective of how detailed this process can be, but also how well it can work because you're very targeted in hitting the right people, leading them to the place where they only have one choice. And then from there, potentially upselling them on other pieces.
Right. Because what you can do is, let's say you're just selling one particular brand or even style of sneaker. We can also have a shop more button on the landing page that will take you to other sneakers. Or you probably notice on certain shopping websites where it says people who have liked this also bought this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another way to introduce them to more things. Now, we might build separate landing pages for those things, or we might have a general, these are all the sneakers that we sell. I have found in all the advertising that I've done, being too general on the landing page is not good for sales because if I'm looking for something, it's got to appear right on, as soon as it comes up on either my phone or the computer, it has to be right on the top. That's what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. And as a matter of fact, it's also good if that landing page, if you can buy that product right on the landing page instead of sending them somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because resend drops people off. So whenever you click on something to go somewhere else, you lost somebody. So try to do it all in the same place.
Absolutely. And I think that, that's something that it's a theme that's popped up in a lot of the interviews that we've done where, it used to be where advertising was to get to as many people as you can, just broadcast it out there. That's why TV commercials worked. But now the world has become more of where you have to niche, you have to get very specific. You have to really focus on who you want to target because there's so many people out there. You can't get in front of everybody. You can't appeal to everybody. And everyone's really developed specific interests anymore. So, that's definitely a theme that I think has come about. So it's great that you make that point for digital marketing that we do need to make sure we're getting in front of those right people. So to kind of start wrapping this into a bow, or wrapping this all up, we have our website. We have the digital marketing to get people to the funnel, or to the landing page, and then they have access to the website. When it comes to the overall picture of the digital landscape and the digital marketing, what are some things that we all need to know going into kind of the future, really, when it comes to this kind of marketing?
Well,
it's a big
one of the things
question.
I've also learned is that every few months, the trends change. Mm-hmm. You have to keep your pulse on the data. You need to be looking at the data. Who's responding? Most of the digital platforms are really good about giving you that sort of data. I actually did a campaign that I focused on men, and it was women who were responding. And it surprised me, but then we started looking at the data closer, and what we were realizing was women are looking at this as a gift for their men, mm-hmm. rather than men actually looking for it for themselves. And sometimes the data will just surprise you as to what you learn from it. I did one campaign where we were actually selling two products on the same landing page, and that's kind of how I learned don't do that, because what shows up on the top, if it again, if it doesn't show up right on the top and it's something else, you lost that person.
Mhm.
That they came looking for something else, it's not there. They won't even scroll down to find it. Even if it's only two things and all they had to do is scroll down, like half a page, right there it is. You've already lost it. So again, specificity, very important. Uh, I like to recommend that you work with a marketer, but learn the marketing yourself as well as you can, so you're asking the right questions. There's a lot of people doing marketing out there, and there's a lot of people who don't do it well. And I actually belong to several different groups on Facebook where we talk about marketing, and it's surprising how many people say, "Hey, I got a client that is selling this. What should I do?" Well, first of all, you shouldn't have taken that client if you don't know what to do. Okay, you ran into them. Now go learn it so you can get the next one. If you don't know what questions to ask, you will never know if you have the right person working with you.
Mm-hmm.
You can do this marketing yourself. It does take time. You got to dig through that data. Sometimes it's just better left to people who specialize in that type of marketing. If they can give you that return on investment, it's absolutely worth it.
Absolutely. And with that in mind, tell us how we can get a hold of you to talk more about websites and
Okay.
digital marketing.
Our business is BNF Enterprises. My email address is kevin.beers@bfenterprisesva, as in Virginia.com. Or contact@bfenterprisesva.com. Either one of those will definitely get to me, and we can talk more from there.
Sounds good. So thank you everybody for watching another great interview for the 2023 Business Connection Summit. Again, I am Bill Marshall, and I was joined by Kevin Beers, and we will see you tonight in the networking event. Bye.